Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Vitality and Misfits fans, welcome to the Gold Advantage on the Bo3 Network, and thank you for joining us after your incredible, disappointing loss in playoffs. With me, as always, are Scoot and Chris, and I am your host, Nikita. How are you guys doing today?
I've been thinking about this a lot since your intros. Am I in the gentlemen or boys category?
Boys.
Okay.
Boys.
Well, that's
honestly,
the answer came through too quickly.
It's cute that you thought.
I think last week you were talking about creeps and all that stuff. I would put you in
Minions,
the creeps. Yeah. I put you in the creeps part.
Okay. Well, that's. I mean, come on.
You might.
God,
I might give you super creep status. When you're
could be Scuttle Crab. On a good day, you're Scuttle Crab in River.
I fancy myself a cannon minion.
With that background, I could see him being a blue buff.
Yeah. You consider yourself a cannon minion because what you're packing?
What's that?
What you fire out?
What's that thing I'm toting?
Yeah.
I'm not. No, I'm talking about my wagon.
You do have a large.
I'm doing splendid, Nikki.
Yeah.
I think we had a great weekend. Specifically, especially in the LEC, I thought it was very, very entertaining stuff. And a lot.
I really enjoyed the LCS as well.
A lot of things are coming together.
Gotta be some identity crises going on for you too.
Well, so yeah, you mentioned this at the end of the Money Hill that I am like a hardcore Cloud9 fan. I'm an OG. I'm an OG Cloud9 fan.
Right.
I've been falling out of love with them for quite a few years now, to be honest.
Okay. Tell us more.
I still they're like my backup, but it's just a lot of the players and the way they've been doing the team plays. It's just I don't love it, and I think I've shifted. I really love this 100 Thieves team.
Yeah, you do. You have been consistent about that. You've
Since
been
day
drooling over him all year.
Oh, straight away, yeah. So even when they had Ryu in mid lane, when they first grabbed the Golden Guardians, 4, I was like,
I was on board then, but then
that's crazy that team is like.
But
a championship caliber team.
I don't enjoy rooting for the big dog on campus. I don't enjoy rooting for. The team
that's weird. I would think
I love it. I love a good underdog story. Give me a little scrappy team.
Which is EG,
Mad Lions, EG. That's exactly right. These are my kind of teams. I like to see someone who outkicks their coverage.
As opposed to TSM and Cloud9 who just outspend.
Right.
You can't compete.
When it was Golden Guardians and they fucking had that run, that was to me fucking right after my heartstrings. And then even last year. When 100 Thieves was kind of on the come up, but wasn't quite there yet. They still had the top dogs to beat. But then when they just re-signed the exact same team, didn't do much, they won. I was like, you know what?
What do you want to tell me? This team is doing so well. Fuck it. Let's start again.
Let's find EG. Let's go.
Where's CLG's old roster?
Let's go find some team that's rebuilding and try to just risk it all for.
I have to say, EG is third favorite team, mainly because of the Jizuke. Yeah. I felt I love Jizuke as a player. I thought last year when they brought Danny in, there was a real energy to the team, and they've kept that on with Jojo Pion and so on. So it has been fun to kind of follow them.
They're very invested in young talent. And I think it's worth noting, and it makes them fun to watch. But I think honestly, the most fun part about EG is just kind of the way they draft sometimes, and the things that they're willing to bring to the table to try to beat teams that are probably out of their league, and we can saw that. Obviously, not time for the LCS yet, but
we flipped it. So let's just flip it. Why be too rigid? It's our podcast. We can do whatever the fuck we want.
Wow.
So actually, we're gonna start off with the LCS instead of the LEC this week.
Let's do it.
I maintain,
fair enough.
Nonetheless, an exciting week. I think you hit the nail on the head there, Scoot, with the EG versus TL matchup. EG essentially was outclassed, and I think they knew it.
But if they
played in the traditional way, and when they decided, we're going to play our tempo, our game plan, they started to do really well, and it's such a disappointment because I think there was that one game where they had Nocturne Leona.
Nocturne top lane.
And it was going so well. And they just decided to fucking engage with no ultimates. And yeah, I guess Nocturne works great without his ultimate. It's not like his whole kit is built around that fucking ultimate. Same with Leona. and they lost it off of that, and it's a shame.
Again? It's like Nightmare or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. And it's such a shame.
And
I think
everyone
those are like just some moments where I'm just a bit like, well, what happened there? And I think the Game 5 draft was just like way too ambitious. Like they need to. That's like a T1 draft. That T1 like it happened. Someone played in Korea. It was like Genji or someone, and they basically couldn't play it. It wasn't successful, and EG was like, those Koreans. Let's show them how to play their own comp. So I have a big issue with Game 5. I think they shot themselves in the foot because I think TL was getting a little bit shooketh.
Shooketh?
So,
shooketh. Listen, I mean...
It's my favorite made-up word.
And by the way,
I think
I haven't seen fucking Renekton played, like, I feel like all fucking split.
What the fuck are you talking about?
So he was played a lot.
What?
In Korea.
No, I'm not talking about this, but in Korea?
I think, was it Korea? But like he isn't.
No, he isn't. He's not being played a lot in Korea and because they probably know the game better. But like,
not that good at the moment.
I mean, we're not at the team that this is relevant for yet because
EG played Renekton.
No, I know, but you know specifically what event I'm talking about that I am already pissed off about even thinking about it. So when we get to that match, we'll dive a little deeper. No, I agree with you. It was very cool to see EG bring some things out of the bag and kind of take that strategy to a different level. On the back half of that, I think there is also almost like TL was playing down a gear. And I no discredit to EG. Like, they played a great series. But when the experience kicks in map 5, you put Bjergsen on Viegar. Like, very fun to watch on that champ. Just like the skill set that he has, I mean, it's incredible. And then they have the bot lane gank where he just pulls off whatever play that was, and he flashes in, gets the kill under the tower. It was incredible stuff. But like they just have a next gear, like TL specifically, and I think that is experience based. You and I talked about it a little bit on Discord. Yeah. If you're not following that Discord or in it, pin tweet on Twitter at Bo3 Network. On you. Yeah, shame on you. Yeah. But it was like there's a next level to TL that I think they have, and they kind of unlocked it when they needed it most. But again, the draft was kind of gimmicky.
There is that, EG. And I think, but EG has had problems with drafting all year round. Our buddy Tim at Oracle's Elixir had a video earlier in the year breaking down how EG drafts. It's all over the fucking place. Like the way they prioritize certain champs, what order they draft. And there's a lot of like kind of theory behind that. And he does a really good breakdown of it, that they just don't seem to have a consistent game plan going into draft. Yeah. And it's something that I think has held them back a lot. I love the game 3 draft with Nocturne because it wasn't Nocturne top lane, it was Nocturne jungle. You had Leona in the bot lane, you had Kennen in the top lane. And that was such a great draft because, Kennen wants to flank. Leona wants a strong engage, and ideally from a position of power where she's not being seen. Hey, who gives that? Allows you to do that. Nocturne. It was like so well done, and they were winning until they decided to take fights without their ultimates. And it's a real shame that these kind of hiccups have happened because it's just like it led down ultimately. It culminated in game 5 where they tried a comp that just was not viable and just didn't work out. That being said, what I'm trying to get at is that EG looked better than they have all year.
Yeah.
By a mile.
I'm the way they were playing from behind was great. They were being really proactive, really smart. They were the team comps, when they did draft correctly, they executed well until they had like kind of a brain fart moment. And they really, like, individually, I think, stepped up in a lot of ways.
That might not be the last time you see EGTL play.
Exactly. And I think there's that opportunity as well with going through the lower bracket. But also, I think, Chris, you've been saying this from the start of the year. You're looking to summer.
I am.
And I think this bodes really well for summer because there's some clear, like, if you're going to draft this comp, don't fucking engage without ultimate. Don't go for these sorts of things. And I think that was really interesting.
I think that's such a good point, right? Which is, and of course they're trying to win every match in front of them. But, of course. But I think that they're going for summer too, right? Like, I think that they probably aren't necessarily saying we're going to make MSI. Only one team makes it. We're going to try and go and test some things out. We're going to try and improve every step of the way. Like, how can we try some stuff out in this match that will benefit us later, right? And I think that this is where EG's definitely on the come up, right? They're starting to look like this. I think that they waffling. They had a great first tournament in the what is it, lock-in or whatever the fuck it's called?
Yeah, lock-in. It gets confusing with Call of Duty too.
Kickoff, lock-in,
whatever it is. But EG, there's no reason not to be bullish on them. Kind of heading into the rest of this tournament, but like you just said, like summer, I am very much looking forward to those guys. It just feels like they're kind of coming into form. They started to perform. I mean,
it does.
Fucking hell, I still wish they would be above 500 to get the fourth place.
Sure.
But it feels like it's going to be turning into a top 3 into a top 4. You could easily see that happening this summer.
They haven't hit their ceiling.
Well, I don't know. I think it might be a top 3
point there,
considering a performance of one team.
Okay, well, let's just behave for a little bit.
But
no, great. Listen. They haven't hit their ceiling yet. I'll agree with you on that end. The most encouraging thing for me, which you touched on a little bit, Nikki, is just that, like the pacing thing. You can't play at TL's pace, and it felt like map 1 was necessary to like flip that switch. Like we can't let them just set up their team fights and like let them outlane us the entire game and then play at their pace afterwards. Like it's just not going to work. So you've got to decide like where you're going to pick your fights. And I think they did a good job of that afterwards. And obviously there were issues with engaging and maybe building a comp around an ultimate that you then decided to not fight with, as we've said several times already. But that is just disappointing because that could have easily gone their way.
I was going to save this for later, but I think there's enough to talk about Rogue and Fnatic that I'll put it in here. It's been really interesting to see Rogue playstyle evolve and adapt, which I'll dive into more detail when we talk about Rogue and Fnatic, without Inspired, and EG's playstyle with Inspired, because he was carrying. Not in the rest of the team is not doing well, more in I'm just like, I know exactly what my win conditions are and how I need to play these champs, and he's so clearly and I think this was something that we discussed previously. He's like a resource-focused carry. And so he's a jungler, whereas Malrang really supports his lanes. Inspired supports himself. And, he in the games they won, he's like 3-1 and 15. Like we look at game 2, what was his scoreline? He was 4-1 and 7. He's consistently like one of those junglers that is like playing carry junglers. Even in game 3 on the Nocturne, 4-4 and 1. Game 5, that obviously is like culminates in, hey, give me Nidalee, I'm gonna win this game.
Yeah,
didn't work out. But
they did kind of draft for him to carry, which is good.
They drafted for him to carry, and that's like, and I don't think that's a bad thing for EG. Like this is something we talked about in Discord, and I think it's kind of a good point. Is that like, both of them have benefited, and in ways that I don't think I would have necessarily expected, especially on the EG side.
I mean, Danny might have carried a map in there, but he had the one absolute ripper, which was fun to watch. But I agree with you, and it was very cool to see them realize kind of what the best case scenario was for them in drafting around Inspired, and then it did come to fruition in map 5, which was a little interesting, and they kind of got stomped. Which, disappointing as that is. TL moves on though.
TL moves on.
TL looked good,
and I think that's the other part of this that we might be not giving enough attention to, which is for TL to kind of come through that against such a quality team, kind of performing pretty well. I mean, I'm not going to suggest that was a harder match than was coming up against 100 Thieves. But then again, on the flip side, did 100 Thieves even have to play remotely
a real team?
Like, who's to say?
No.
Okay, well,
I think it's a weird one. There's not much. I don't have that much to say about TL. I think they're just still good. Well,
they're just still good.
Santorin played well.
Yeah.
I think Inspired was talking about like in game chat that we didn't get to see. He was like, I heard about playoff buff Bjergsen. He's like fucking experiencing it now. It's just like across the team, I think they're very good. I think Bwipo, there's times where I'm like, what are you doing, Bwipo? But that's Bwipo. So I don't have much to take away from it.
Except Hans Sama, Core JJ, just such a dynamic duo.
Yeah, I mean, like, every lane and every individual player is so fucking good. Like,
and so experienced. It's
and then
there's no rookie. There's no like, ooh, I have stage fright.
I know
when Bwipo's roaming
take.
And like on his bullshit, it's such a scary thing.
I know this is the wrong take, but I'm still not like overly scared about Bjergsen mid lane. I think that
that's just so far from base.
I just think that is an area where 100 Thieves could really kind of expose. I think it's the one area where
that's the thing you don't expose. You don't expose.
I think it's the one area where like
it's not getting exposed.
I could see
Bjergsen is like that. He is just so solid in his roles and his performances, and so consistent and so good under pressure. So
FBI and Huhi are not going to necessarily be afraid of Hans Sama and Core JJ.
No,
I don't see Closer being nervous.
No,
about going up against Santorin. So
I mean, Santorin's had a great split though.
He has.
Like, we're not gonna say nervous, but like
they're just very different junglers.
Nervous. They're
just very different junglers. Like Closers are very, Closer gets going, he's gonna take over.
We're talking when this matchup comes up about 10 established pros. Nobody's gonna be scared of the other person. Like, let's be.
I'm not gonna lie.
Very clear here. And
I'm looking at this roster right now. I know we're probably gonna talk. Do we want to talk about wagers already, or do we want to finish 100 Thieves versus?
I think we gotta go to 100
versus
Thieves,
the Academy team that they played.
Yeah, I mean, just an absolute dismantling, like an absolute dismantling, and you can't even say like, so if you're going to even attempt to be like, well, Cloud9 just didn't show up. No, they tried their little fucking hearts out. In game 1, they tried, and Summit got crushed. Game 2,
okay, but like
Summit had it. Summit's
like,
gonna have. Look,
here's the thing. Here's the thing. No. Stop. There is a like very. I don't know what the word is that I'm looking for here, but it is just like falling upon deaf ears that champ is not gonna fucking work in this matchup, and they already knew how to play against it. So why the fuck are you drafting at map 1, and then why the fuck are you drafting at map 2?
Sorry.
We're talking specifically about Renekton here in the top lane on Summit. They had already absolutely hard countered it. There's a reason, sure. And Summit had very good games on Renekton throughout the split against different teams.
And then 1-6.
Yeah, not to mention he also went 0-8 at the end of the split against 100 Thieves in the same fucking matchup. So why are you picking it again?
Summit has been talked about as like an MVP, and he's not an MVP. Like that conversation is done.
He's going
it's
to win
a massive asterisk right now. Everyone's talking about it.
That conversation
he's going to win MVP.
Ssumday right now looks like the best top laner.
He's going to win an MVP, and everyone is saying, he is. He's going to win it 100%.
He's going to win MVP.
But people everyone is saying
use their ballots.
Well, that's what everyone's saying. Everyone's like, oh, this is actually pretty. I think Scotty, like, there was a podcast I listened to that is a very interesting one. That Max Waldo is 21 years old. Summit is older than him, and in Korea, that's a big thing. And Summit definitely came to play with LS. Max Waldo can't even speak Korean. There's a lot of stuff, and the problem is that if Summit, who is by far your best player and has been carrying you all split long, says, I'm doing this, can you say no? And is this how Cloud9 sets it up, that like the players have more agency?
You know who their actual best player that series was? Like, and there's not a lot of shining moments in there, but the person trying to put the other 4 in a bag and drag them through the rift to the other team's nexus was definitely Berserker. And like he had his moments like here and there. He absolutely tried to pull them through game 2. And I
can say, look, game 1, game 2, there is something to be said for running it back, and we saw this in Europe. Like, if you really believe your comp, because the thing around it is that you run back your comp because you believe like, hey, they got lucky with an early game gank or something like that. That doesn't happen, then we win. Summit got spanked so hard in game 1 that it's like the game is basically over, and they run it back going, okay, we know they're going to go for top lane ganks. What do we do? Summit gets rolled all over again. And it's like, oh no, this is actually... And by the way, I think game 2 was when they made a really good invade into jungle, and they fucked with Closer's jungle pathing in his start, so he was from behind at the start.
No, C9 had a good start in that game.
And they still, Cloud9 had a good start, and they still fucking lost.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, no, they fucked it up.
And by the way, Closer's Lee Sin was phenomenal.
My argument,
fucking phenomenal. And no, it's good. I gotta just like his Lee Sin, the way he was playing it. I mean, all pro players love playing Lee Sin because he's so dynamic.
Yeah.
But it was more his understanding of Summit and how Summit would react to the traditional play, and then not playing that. So queuing, ward hopping, knowing that the ward hop would trigger Summit to flash away or dash away, and then using the second part of his queue to like follow in. It was like a masterclass across 3 games.
So deadass,
my counterpoint to the running it back thing. Hold on.
How do you?
It's just that you game 1, you're already fucking running it back. That's the point. That is what I'm saying. Like, this is recent enough to matter. Like the loss to 100 Thieves at the end of the split. And you can argue whatever, like not playoffs, we weren't playing a real series yet. And even I did last week. Like that's whatever. Like we came into this podcast, I was all C9, they got rolled. But like you were already running it back game 1, so why the fuck are you doing it a third time? And we've seen this with Fnatic too now, which I mean we'll talk about them when we get there because I'm just as angry about Humanoid and TF. So I don't understand it, and credit to 100 Thieves for abusing the fact that
they pulled them apart
over and over. Yeah, they ripped them apart.
Why would you?
I mean, the team looked incredible across the board.
Why would you keep letting Lee Sin go through the draft?
So this is actually, I was going to say this. This is a
you're
thing
getting
that
fucking
is
exposed. Fucking
yeah, but it's not Lee Sin. So this is one of those things where I think people are going to, teams are now going to start thinking like, hey, we need to ban the Lee Sin. But the reality is, it's like Closer's just.
Yeah,
I think the best jungler in North America.
You can't ban everybody.
So because if you ban Lee Sin, he goes on to Diana or he goes on to Viego, and we saw what he's like on Viego last split. Like it's just like he can't wait to play that champ. The worst part is that Cloud,
it's like please don't ban please don't ban Viego.
Yeah. It's like he's like, oh no, don't take away my Lee Sin and give me Viego. But part of the bigger fucking issue is Cloud9 banned
just sucks.
2 or 3. Well, no. Sorry, 100 Thieves banned 2 or 3 top laners.
Yeah.
Every round. Yeah. If you're target banning someone like
good.
that,
in theory.
Yeah. But in theory, then the rest of the team is meant to be good. And so if it's like, we have 3 bans targeted on one guy,
fucking player who I fucking smash on. Like
I can play whatever I fucking want. Exactly. I can play whatever the fuck I want. And so they grabbed Zeri. Berserker was better, but like honestly, where the fuck is the rest of Cloud9?
1, 2, and 1.
That's what I'm saying.
That is better. He got it 5, 2, and 8 in the game 2, so it finally kind of started playing a little better. But
I mean, like when the whole team is like when your top lane is like
hard to be an
120.
ADC when you're,
I think the top laner was like 126 and 1. It's pretty.
What are you gonna deal damage to when you're dead at the start? Like it's just not. That's not his role. And he tried his fucking hardest. I'll tell you that much. He had
I think Cloud9 tried. Cloud9 really tried here.
But this is what
so by the way, sorry, Scoot, I actually went back to this Cloud9 100 Thieves matchup. Summit was on Graves, Blaber's on Viego. So the only consistent was Zeri and Leona. So
Summit was on Renekton for the first 2 maps.
No, but we're talking about the map, the last game of the season where you were like, the Renekton game 1 is running it back. It's not.
Against 100 Thieves.
Yeah, no, he was on Graves.
I'm almost certain ran it against 100 Thieves.
I have it here.
I swear to God.
No, maybe early in the split, but no one cares. Like, the last match of the split on the 26th of March, he was on Graves.
Let me look.
And by the way, he went 0-8. Just FYI.
Oh, that's hard to do. That's hard to do with Graves.
He did look better on. He did look better on Tryndamere with, I guess, a little bit more early laning power, and that was, I guess, somewhat encouraging to see them at least try something new.
He did, but then, actually, I need to check the bans there, because, like, why didn't he play Camille into... Oh, no, they did. They banned Camille and Aatrox. Okay, I was going to say, why didn't he play Aatrox or Camille? But those were, again, like, you look at it, what are they banning? They ban Gnar and Jace in the first round,
Summit,
and Nautilus.
And by the way,
why
you
did
have
they
to
not
ban Gnar? Like everyone, like that, that OP right now.
Yeah. Anyway, look, I just think
if it's played incorrectly, it's like
100
Gnar's fucking amazing, but
just smash Cloud9. Honestly, this was like a massive difference across the whole team. Like, I think they outdrafted them. I think they outplayed them.
Yeah.
I think individually they outplayed them.
Well,
and this was a Cloud9
so
team that was
Guys.
this was a Cloud9 team that was genuinely trying. This is not a team where you're like, oh shit, Cloud9 didn't turn up. Like, no, they were hustling to try and win.
So,
they definitely didn't turn up. That's
with all that in mind,
without a doubt, they got
with all that in mind.
Yeah.
Can we? There's some bets, and I think there's some bets that we are ready to talk about.
So we have Cloud9, Golden Guardians, and EG FlyQuest.
And
so
we have TL 100 Thieves.
And we have TL 100 Thieves.
Isn't that a week after, I believe? We have
Oh, is that?
No. We the other sports books has all three.
You're right.
One of them only
Sorry.
has
Yeah,
two.
it is a week
It's
delayed,
a week delayed.
Yeah.
Sorry. Okay.
It is.
So like, it might not be the most relevant.
I would rather talk about it now while it's fresh. We can recap next week.
All I would say is the money line for 100 Thieves is at 2.07.
Yeah,
Done.
Agreed. And like,
Fucking
they look
free
incredible.
money.
So why not take
Yeah.
that? Also,
they're the
I would
favorites
like to
for me
note-
now.
I'm gonna take the minus 1.5 at 3.04.
Yeah,
I think
that's
when you
fucking
have
great.
two teams like this as well that can, like we're again, I said it, like it's 10 established pro players that have been in this situation before, and they can dig themselves out of holes. Plus, they have like all of their laning down. They play very well as a team. When that happens, I think you're going to get a lot of overs on average game time. So I think that is also worth noting. Like I think
TL is very good at holding on to. That's something like Cloud9. They're a good team. There are some teams that are just very good at like holding the other team off and not giving them the opportunity to just execute. I think actually, Chris, you mentioned this in the Discord where EG would take all three inhibitors, whereas TL would take one inhibitor to end the game.
Yeah, it was such an interesting little factoid, just like an oddity, if you will. Like when TL's going for your fucking base, they're just going straight for it. Like they're not fucking wasting any time.
And they know when they execute you, they know how to kind of like move one small advantage into another.
Fucking done.
Yeah. I 100%. I think right now, I look and I think that 100 Thieves is the favorite. They're just playing so well.
Not on the sports book.
Yeah, they're not.
I mean, TL has too much service just across the board on the roster, and like it's priced into the line. That's the reason, and we'll take that all day because 100 Thieves arguably looks like the better team
for sure.
2.07 on the money line, like you said, Chris. Minus
2.17.
1.5, 2.17, even better. The minus 1.5 is 3.04 for me. Fucking love that.
Free.
I love it.
I don't grab it
for prop bets. I'll say this.
I
don't know about the prop bets because Cloud9 was so one-sided.
What are the chances we get a minus 2.5 at 6.19?
Ooh, I think TL's too consistent.
Okay. Yeah.
I think a team that has Bjergsen on it, if you go down, is buffed immediately.
Yeah.
So that's also a huge issue to the whole 3-0.
The prop bets, I would be wary of any stats because Cloud9 got stomped so hard by 100 Thieves that it just skews everything. If you're looking at the EG TL and you notice that like EG took a lot of, and I'm not saying this, but like it's more addition by subtraction. So you kind of are looking at it and seeing that maybe TL didn't get first dragon because they prioritized first tower, then you can deduce that most likely 100 Thieves will end up getting first dragon. I'm not sure I'd go for those bets though for that. So now that we know that Cloud9 is a sham, do we think that that Golden Guardians can beat them?
Yes.
No.
Scoot, I'm going to ask you this. Do you genuinely think there's a 0% chance that Golden Guardians can beat them?
Okay, I mean nothing is zero. We're talking about.
Well, I think like Immortals has a 0% chance of beating them. I do not think that
Immortals would have a 0% chance of beating them.
Yeah, I think
that's fine. But like my issue is that it's not at a price where I'm comfortable taking it, even though it is above 4, which is crazy. But I still think that like
that's
I will take a Blaber.
I mean, player to player across the board.
I love a Blaze Olive. I think Lost has been playing great. and Licorice.
I think Licorice is good. I think Blaze Olive has also shown.
I think.
Okay, but Golden Guardians isn't going to be able to put the pressure to perform and actually do his job properly that like 100 Thieves was able to. And maybe they do the same shit in draft where they kind of only pick against
Golden
him.
Guardians is good.
They're good, yes, but like we're also. I think like 100 Thieves has way more capability to shut down the other 4 players, even if they do
could be
succeed
going mental
in shutting down Summit.
Cloud9 could be going mental boom.
Okay, well,
Summit's inting his way back to the LCK.
I don't know if he goes back to the LCK after this one.
He hates watching.
We'll see on that.
He hates watching T1 dominate without him.
You know how like EG did a really cool. You know how EG did a really cool little swap of top lane for mid lane. You like, and that was like really, and it was just like a smart little mindfuck addition to the draft when they played and they won. That's what's going to happen into Cloud9, but it's just Fudge going to kick Summit off the stage because he's like, you useless fuck. Yeah. How are you
if
one?
Fudge, if Fudge goes back to top lane for a series, that would be unbelievable. It's not
I like
likely.
the odds on Golden Guardians. I think
they're good odds. They're fine.
What I really like is a plus 1.5 at 2.44.
That's what I was going to say. To me, as much as
it's hard to go for the money line.
As much as we love shitting on 100 Thieves, like they're still
Cloud9.
Cloud9. They're still pretty good. The problem is, I want to say the -1.5, but the odds are so ass that
they're so bad.
I'm inclined just to go straight up calling my shot and just say 3-1.
If you're gonna do that, I would go for the -2.5 at 2.75.
No, because I think that Golden Guardians is going to get a map.
Yeah, I'm saying that Golden Guardians is like I think a very talented team.
Here we go. 100.
I think Golden Guardians super talented team. If they show up, I think they could upset. It could go 3-2. But if they do their usual thing of like we get an advantage and we have no idea what to do with it, then it could be a 3-0.
I'm calling Cloud9 3-1 at 3.30.
Okay,
that
cool.
would be.
I've got an interesting one here.
I like that.
So in the last, I believe the number I looked at was 8 games. Only one time have they actually gone over 25 kills. Well, 25 kills plus, which I mean, I think they blew that one out of the water in one game, and it was Cloud9 100 Thieves.
No, it's like 41 kills or something.
Yeah, at the end of the split. Neither of these teams has, besides that game, gone over 24.5. So I am taking the under there, and it's at 1.87 every map. I think it's solid, and I think Cloud9 will just roll kind of through this, and we're not going to hit 24.5.
Scoot, I'm not going to lie.
Sorry,
I saw you
wait.
glitch, and so I think you said minus 25 kills for...
Under 24.5.
For Cloud9?
No.
Combined?
Like both teams. Yeah.
Total kills under 25?
They haven't gone under 25 in like 8 games.
They haven't?
Unless I'm doing this math completely
wrong. You were doing
wrong.
this completely wrong. Okay, game 1, 100 Thieves versus Cloud9, they had 18 kills. 3
teams?
for Cloud9, 15 for 100 Thieves. But game 2, total was 29. And
it's like the one. Oh wait,
no, game 3.
I am so off.
And game 3 was 32.
Well, Golden Guardians, it's true.
I think your internet tried to save you.
Yeah, maybe.
Okay, moving on. EG versus FlyQuest.
It is true for Golden Guardians, though, and I think they get stomped anyway, so I'm sticking with it. Under 24.5.
3-1.
1.87.
3-1. Don't bet the minus 1.5, though. Not enough value.
Okay,
value
EG.
On the under 24.5. Don't forget it.
EG versus FlyQuest. Lines are terrible. We have 3.7 on FlyQuest, 1.285 for EG to win it.
Disrespectful to FlyQuest, to be honest.
No, this is the real call.
This
is a straight up 3-1 EG.
So here is
I think so too. I think so too. So the only way to get value is a minus 1.5. All right.
Oh, I'm going straight score.
I think that EG is a team that plays up and down to the level of their competition. And this is the only way that a team as talented as EG finishes the season 9-9. I think you're going to get EG to win. I love a over 4.5 maps here. And that to me is by far my favorite bet. Over 4.5 maps, you get at 3.35. I think that is so much value. I could easily see FlyQuest getting out, honestly, to a quick 1-0 lead or even a 2-0 and then getting reverse swept. Or making, having EG come back and win a map 3 and 4, going to game 5. I get nervous about this EG team. They go out and they perform really well, take TL to a map 5. I'm not sure that this EG team has the maturity to just fucking lay the smackdown the way that they should against a FlyQuest team. And I think that people are overlooking a FlyQuest team that has performed better than people ever thought this season. And so
I think that's a really good
for
point.
them to be at 3.70 against this EG team. I think is a bit disrespectful. They had the exact same record, the exact same. So like, I'm not going to overreact to a 3-2 win again.
I mean, the head-to-head was in favor of EG, and they won the last match, the tiebreaker. Actually, I think it was 1-1, and that's why they did the tiebreaker. So, but I don't disagree with you. I think actually, if you guys are into COD, you should check out our sister podcast, The Money Hill. And the reason I bring that up is that we just had an incredible major where an underdog massively overlooked. Actually, a number of overlooked teams performed incredibly well, and so I think this is something to be said. Is that it just
feels like
why would
EG goes?
I understand EG played
Dignitas.
well.
They go 0-2. Against FlyQuest. They go 0-2 against TSM. Like
EG played well against TL, but you can't overlook the fact that they struggled during the regular season.
They're 9-9, just like FlyQuest.
I'm overlooking it.
So I do like that. I think EG will win. But I do love the over 4.5 maps at 3.35, and I think you could put a little on the FlyQuest upset at 3.7. The minus 1.5, the minus 1.5 on EG at 1.6. I think it's the best value odds and bet that you can get on EG.
By the way, I may have been misreading the little matrix here. EG might be a 2-0 team against Dignitas, a 2-0 team against FlyQuest, and 2-0 against TSM.
Yeah,
but my point is still this, which is they still went 1-1
the point
against
is that they
Immortals.
The point is that they lose to the top teams.
Golden Guardians. And 1-1.
Guys, come here to hear BNB and Scoot give you the real insight and stats of reading is hard.
Mine is still accurate. I'm pretty sure I only looked at Golden Guardians instead of C9 though, and that might be a mistake on my end. So I apologize to the listeners who really listen to me, even though my kill spreads this year have been pretty spot on. So
this is what the whiskey does.
Reading is hard, guys. Reading is hard.
No, math is apparently hard. I can read the numbers, but I can't add them up.
Yeah, Chris has a new thing of getting smashed, and I don't know if you guys have noticed. He gets looser. He gets looser throughout the podcast, and if it goes on too long, he gets sleepy.
He's always pretty loose.
It's so fucking true. Look, I think
my point is still stands.
I think EG wins it. Yeah. I think EG wins, but I do think if we're digging for value here, it is on over 4.5. It is on the FlyQuest money line, and the best value you can get for minus 1.5
over 4.5
is 1.67.
Over 4.5.
And then that wraps it up for NA. As we said, look, Team Liquid 100 Thieves. I think Liquid look clean. But this is 100 Thieves that we have been looking for. Throughout the year, Abadage wasn't playing the best.
But not even looking for it. They've been on a fucking insane run. Series. They've been so good.
Huge
run. So
but at the end of the season, and
not
to be fair, even in that
insane
run,
it's about getting hot at the right time, boys.
8-0. They were 8-0. That's like fucking 4 weeks. They were
true. Okay,
it's like that is the end.
I think
half the season at least.
Second half.
It's about getting hot at the right time.
Half.
All right?
That's a mid to late rating of fucking 100.
Okay. It's a great performance from them.
Okay,
I think a lot of that performance. A lot of that performance came from Closer and Ssumday. Abadage was MIA, and I think the bot lane was also not performing at the level that we expected from them. But this matchup against Cloud9, the whole team is firing. Abadage is playing really well, and Closer and Ssumday are playing on another level. They've somehow upgraded from being MVP candidates throughout the year. that were overlooked because Cloud9 ran a con team. Doesn't mean that TL is going to be an easy win, but I do think the fact that TL got taken to 5 by an EG squad which has some pretty glaring issues makes 100 Thieves really the favorite for me. So I love the 2.017, Scott, you said?
TL's going to fucking obliterate 100 Thieves. I've actually now just thought about this a decent amount.
You're wrong.
You want to do a side bet?
Can I jump in on this fucking side
$1,000?
I already have enough stuff going on this week. I'm not jumping in on that.
500?
What else you got?
I don't know. I got Tiger to win the Masters, so I need that to happen.
The world needs that to happen.
The world is healing if Tiger.
You know
wins
his
the
biggest
Masters.
issue is walking.
I know.
Yeah,
It's like that. Like it's not even the golf. It's and someone was saying that they wonder if it's actually going to slow his rotation a little bit, which will help with some of his back issues and like hurt him, like plague him later on. So you heard it here first.
Is he better than he was before?
Talking about another sport, we can look at the LEC, where another team also fucking imploded. Another team that was predicted to do well. Fuck you guys for ever doubting Rogue.
That transition was reckless, honestly.
Big fuck you to you two.
Who let you do that?
Big fuck you to you two for doubting Rogue.
Wait, they haven't won the final yet. Let's be very, very fucking clear. Because this is a long fucking way to go. Because there's some interesting teams that could wind up in that final.
So,
G2 specifically.
I gotta say, like, I have a whole like little essay on this.
I know you do.
Just bring us your
I've been stewing,
I want it in
and
a
I've been
haiku.
stewing for.
I want it in a haiku.
I've been stewing
I
for
have
so
my
long.
own essay of pure anger.
I've been stewing
because
for
Max
so
Waldo
long.
also coaches Fnatic. That's become very clear to me.
I think that people are getting conned because the first 2 games were close. That they think Fnatic was legitimately in a position to win, whereas the most shocking thing, like I was watching those 2 games and
they won both.
I was so worried about Fnatic because they were getting off to a perfect start. In game 1 and game 2, they had a 2k gold lead. Early on, it was, before 15 minutes. I think I actually have this shit written down. This is how much, the start that they had, they should have been able to close it out. But then Rogue somehow gets back into it, secures an Elder and a Baron, and then they have with an amazing Malrang flank.
I love Malrang.
And Humanoid is playing out of his fucking mind.
Malrang.
So, okay, Fnatic win, but then how is Rogue able to keep it so close when playing from behind in game 1? In game 2, you have the exact same thing. They have a great start, 12 to 14 minutes in. Rogue starts to just pick up and starts to essentially win the game despite a crippling handicap. And it goes from a 2k gold advantage for Fnatic at 10 minutes to even at 17 minutes. Which is just and it's not like they hadn't drafted for it. The 2 fights around mid, I think, were bad engages from Rogue rather than good fights from Fnatic. And that, to me, is the most concerning thing, because if that is Fnatic being given an advantage and they can't close it out on their terms, that's not a Fnatic team that can win.
I've been pointing this out, I think, for a couple weeks now. Hyllisang is more than concerning for this team.
Oh my god.
Hyllisang occasionally does Hyllisang things, which he is renowned
he occasionally
for.
hints, but that's what you get when you sign him. But he's
I think
gonna be MVP. So
honestly,
Hyllisang,
I just think,
and then Humanoid.
Yeah,
both of these guys just.
No. We'll talk about the
Humanoid
Humanoid issue.
well.
I can
Not
specifically talk about it. It's actually not even. It's not even his fault.
No one played well.
Hold
game
on.
4 and 5.
Whose fault is it, Scoot?
Hold on. I think the point that Nicky's getting at is that Rogue's mid game is immaculate. It's almost
they don't
flawless.
really care whether they're up
And
or down. They can still come back.
The fact that they were able to drag those games back from the brink of them exploding by about 18 minutes is insane. Even that those were close. So I mean, all respect to them. Also respect to them for not losing the first 2 and reverse sweeping anyways is enough of like a mental barrier to overcome to where you're like, okay, yeah, now I probably believe in Rogue a little bit. Still need to win a final.
Still
Let's be very
G2.
fucking clear. That is a big roadblock.
But not just that. It's also the way Rogue in the past. One of the reasons they've lost is they haven't been able to adapt on the fly. They've been very rigid in the way that they play, yep. And I do wonder how much of that is due to Inspired, which is what we saw in EG. And instead, this time they came in with a certain strategy. They tried it again in game 2. They very nearly won both of them, and they said, actually, no, okay, we need to flip this up. And they completely changed it. And the way they played in-game, the tempo, the way they moved. And once they figured out, once they kind of made that adjustment, they destroyed Fnatic. Like games 3, 4, and 5, like across the board, all 3 of them were absolute dismantling. Like game 4 was so short. I think it set the record. It was like 24 minutes, I think. And game 5 barely... Yeah, 23 minutes and 13 seconds in game 4. In game 5 was 23 and 25. That is disgusting.
I mean,
you know what was crazy similar between those 3 games?
34,000 gold. That's like where you're at.
And maybe some people would call it maddeningly similar between those 3 games. But why are we picking Twisted Fate 3 times in a row?
Yeah,
it didn't work the first time, and that's like, okay, we tried something a little different. It didn't work. Humanoid probably played decently on it, but maybe we didn't execute. So let's run it back for a second.
He's like 9-0. This is the thing. He's like 9-0 on it. So they're like, oh, we fucked up the game one.
So we fucked up the game. Let's try it again.
Yeah.
The third time is fucking infuriating.
Yeah.
What are you doing? Like, I knew it was over when I saw the draft. I was like, there's no way they come back. They are so clearly, in this pit of like, we have done something wrong and we can fix this. It's not just Rogue playing better than us. We need to change something. You're in this pit now of like, oh, this is our fault. Like, we put ourselves here.
And
you did not put yourselves there. You got outplayed.
When Rogue gets an early game, what happens? It's they just destroy you. And it's just like the swap. I'm so bullish on this Rogue team now winning it all, just because before. Of
course you are.
I do think like the reason Mad Lions beat them was Mad Lions managed to adapt a lot quicker, and Rogue was very rigid. Like they played a great game, but they were rigid in the way that they played that game. This time, they've gone from, hey, we're going to play with like a Lulu and we're going to play like this. And they're going to swap it over, and they're just going to quickly swap over to way more proactive champs. And there's like, okay, we can't give them the opportunity in the early game. We've got to be proactive. And changing that mindset and changing that game style is what it takes to be, I think, the best on a global stage.
It doesn't matter if you're the best, though.
And the fact that Silas, by the way, that Silas pick, is he was like 1 and 2 on it. No one expected, and he wrecked people. And like again, Larssen is not. Everyone thinks he's quite a rigid control mage player. No.
Nikki, what did COD teach us last weekend? That no matter how good you are as a team, if there's a team that's absolutely running lower brackets, they become very, very dangerous very quickly.
I mean, okay. No, I don't rate any of the opponents. Like Misfits, who didn't call G2
it doesn't
Smash
matter
if
it doesn't matter if you don't rate them or not. One, I did say that G2 will fuck up Misfits, which they did.
Also said they were gonna fuck up Vitality, which they did.
He also said they were gonna fuck up Vitality, which they did.
Well, sorry, we didn't. Sorry, hold on.
I did.
We implied all 3 of us.
G2 was gonna fucking run train.
BNB, you 100% did.
Run train.
I believe that we have one imposter in this.
Is there an imposter?
We is a 2-letter word for 2 people. We is a 2-letter word for 2 people. But if you do we like this and you find the imposter in the middle, you get a big fuck you, Scotty, for trying to jump in.
I'm not jumping in on
you have been like Vitality's the best team. You just wait.
What the fuck? What are you talking about?
They're the best.
I have never said that they're the best team in the league. First
you
of all,
just wait till playoffs.
I said no. I said if they get going, they could be fairly dangerous, and it would take beating G2 for me to believe in that, which didn't fucking happen. And G2 rolled them.
Said if they beat XL,
go into it.
G2
gets sent.
G2.
I don't think I said that.
Roll the tape.
I don't think I ever said that. You go fucking roll the tape. Yeah, go roll the tape of you being wrong on this.
You know what?
Hold on.
Even if you didn't, I can edit this where it's gonna be like, I think that Vitality. Best team in NA.
Now you have editing power and you think you just make the fucking thing go the way you want to. They get sent to the lower bracket. They 3-0 Vitality, and then they 3-0 Misfits. It doesn't matter if you rate the opponents or not. What they should have done, they did. And that is what a team that I think is the clear number 3, obviously, should do. And maybe number 2 if they are able to roll Fnatic like they did the last 2. And I think there is a possibility that they could 3-0 Fnatic.
I do think there's a possibility there. I
think it's higher than people.
I think G2 is on. I think G2 has been third throughout the whole split, and they've had to kind of work through certain things, and they are fixing them at the right time. I'm not at all disagreeing with that. I just there's not much for me to take away from the Misfits match. Like Vitality beat themselves essentially, and I think Misfits was just like it's just outclassed. Like
Vitality's easy to beat. You just dismantle the fact that they can't play.
Yeah, they can't play together, but it's the same with Misfits. Like they're just outclassed, like across the board. And Neon talked about it. There was a really good interview with Neon where he talks about Vithio, and he's like, he's a great player, but he needs to learn to play for the team. Because at the moment, if we give him the resources to play as a selfish carry, he will carry us. But if we don't give him those resources, which we talked about, he doesn't, and he's learning that. And I don't think some people were like shocked by that, and that wasn't a I'm pretty sure they've discussed it as a team, but I also just think that Hirit was just outclassed in the top lane. So there's not much for me to take away. G2 was always going to be the better team. They played like the better team. This isn't NA where the better team like Cloud9 just can't deliver anything. This is EU. And
but now we're talking about getting on a roll.
And now you're talking about G2 Fnatic.
Yeah, G2 Fnatic, G2 Moneyline at 2.38. That's my response to that. There's no reason to not take this. Yeah, it's going to be underdogs across the board. Fnatic's getting way too much respect, in my opinion, in this matchup. I think, listen, they can beat them in best of ones all fucking year if they want to. That is whatever to me, because G2's adaptability and team fighting and the way they were able to kind of come together in these matches, yes, maybe their opponents weren't as quality, but they looked very fucking good. And I actually think they take this, and I think it's pretty decisive as well.
Moneyline is 1.58 for Fnatic and 2.41 for G2. So I'm in agreement. I think the Moneyline. I think these two teams are actually pretty evenly matched. And I think G2 is just on the up. I think they're kind of coming online and fixing some issues. Like we were talking about this pre-podcast, I would say that Flact was their weakest link, and he's playing poorly. Just he hasn't necessarily been playing as well as I think the others have been. And he came online in the last couple of series. So,
I think Jankos has been
Jankos has been
an absolute godsend for them.
So is Wonder.
He's been unbelievable.
So is Wonder. Wonder I think has been playing really well. Broken Blade has
Fnatic,
been.
Sir.
Yeah, I know he is. I kind of, but
I know
I was like,
I know you know this.
As in, I said it for G2, then realized he was on Fnatic, but the point kind of still stands. He is still really playing well on Fnatic, I think.
Broken Blade's been good too, as well, though. I mean,
I think so. Yeah,
been solid getting a lead and snowballing that.
I had two other bets that I really like. -1.5 for G2 is 3.59, which I just think is so generous.
Bless up, great pick.
And then I think the over 4.5 maps at 2.91 is really good.
That's mine.
Okay.
Again, I love there's no way you're gonna tell me that Fnatic's just gonna roll G2. I think you're gonna be hard pressed. If anything, it's gonna be G2 rolling Fnatic. But I love the quality.
I could see a 3-1.
I love the quality of both these teams. Give me over 4.5, 2.91. That's my favorite bet. G2 Moneyline at 2.41 I don't think is enough juice. I think them going 3-0 3-0 is great, but let's not forget.
Do you think Fnatic is that much better than them?
I just would say let's not forget how good Fnatic is just because they lost to fucking Rogue being reverse swept 3-2. And I know what you're saying.
What was the regular season?
The regular season.
I'm gonna pull up
It's G2's MSI to lose right now. That's
I love that take. I love that take.
Fnatic was 1 ahead. Oh no, it was 2 ahead.
11 and 7.
They were 2 ahead.
Right. And so
2 ahead. Okay.
I don't know. I think that Fnatic is still quality. maybe it's a bad matchup for Rogue. I mean, I think that I think a fun question that we should be having is who would you take, Rogue or 100 Thieves right now, based on how much of a boner each one gives you. But for me, Fnatic is is really talented. Still, G2's fucking clean right now. But again, they're fucking playing Vitality, fucking 9-9, playing Misfits.
Yeah.
Misfits had a decent first half, but was kind of petering off.
They're just outclassed.
And so
G2's just a better team.
And so for me, I'm more in. I think that G2 might win. I'm not suggesting that they won't. I do think over 4.5 is by far my favorite bet there again.
Okay. I mean, look, I don't think Fnatic's a bad team. They still won 2 matches and they got ahead. I just think they lack flexibility.
They might not need it.
My issue,
need it against
the problem is I just think Rogue is the better team, in that even when Fnatic was doing their best, Rogue nearly won. I'm not sure G2 is of the same caliber. In fact, I know that.
Just wait. So. I have one more, and for all you people up there that were watching me earlier, failed to do math when talking about Golden Guardians and Cloud9. I'm talking to you.
I think you're literally talking to me.
Yeah. But I think the over/under for kills here is like pretty high at 27.5, and I know these teams are like historically, semi-fighting heavy, and kill heavy. But that also lends itself to matches where you end up with like one team with a lopsided amount of kills and the other one with almost none. So I think we're going under 27.5 every map here. 1.87. Take that all fucking day. I think that is pretty high as well. So we're
27.5.
That is quite high.
14-14.
Yeah, which like doesn't happen that often.
I agree. You usually see like a 13-7 or like a 15-8.
Yeah, 13-7. Or one team just gets 20 fucking kills, which, I mean, that will happen here and there. And it might happen in this series as well, but like, we're not opposed to that. Because that means the other team
has 26 kills in the first 20 minutes.
But my argument is that this is going to... The fact that they have a lot of kills on both sides is going to work in... like against this line because of the nature of how they acquire them and the spreads that they get against each other.
So once one of these teams, and I'm sure we'll be back, but once one of these teams wins, Fnatic or G2, then they have to play Rogue again. Do we see any reason why Rogue falters?
No,
except for
not with the way they won against. And this is the real thing that I'm going at, is that the way they beat Fnatic is what's really giving me the hope in that. And it wasn't just we're playing like Rogue and we're going to play better. It's we're going to completely change our draft. We're going to completely change our in-game play style. And we're going to make some incredibly good reads. Like Odoamne's read on the Fnatic invade was just phenomenal. Just like incredible.
One thing that I think is worth...
Last time Fnatic and G2 played, it was 21 kills, by the way.
Well, this is what... what's so funny about that, Scoot, is I was literally about to say this exact thing, which is we do have precedent of G2 playing Fnatic. And it wasn't that long ago. And it went fucking 3-1. Now, I think G2 is a better team today than they were back on March 26th.
I think they're playing some of their better leagues right now.
See, I think Fnatic is way better.
You know what, Nikki? What do I always say?
You can't beat the same team twice.
Right. But they beat
four times. But here's the real question: how many times has that been right?
I mean, like enough for me to fucking use it here.
It was around. It was right on Call of Duty once.
It was like once.
So now he's 100% on the week,
and it's been like every other time has been like wrong. It has like an abysmal like 20% success rate.
Take the over 4.5.
My solution.
These two teams fucking play together and they know each other. This is gonna be a tight map.
Now one team's gonna roll the other.
Isn't it like when you read out the whole EG stats? You were like 2-0, 2-0, 2-0, which is like the same team twice. Like 3 examples of like the same team twice just like being smashed, and he's like, and you know what I say.
Playoffs.
What's going on here? It's they went 0-2 against everyone. How did they even get 9 wins? No, listen. The solution to this split lies in the fact that Fnatic will not be able to beat Rogue if they end up in that final. That's
do you really think that G2 beats
G2 might beat
Rogue?
G2 might beat Rogue if
Why?
they end up in that. Actually, no, not might. There's like, honestly, at that point, it becomes a 50-50 for me.
Well,
and I know you like
just
I
because
know
of the
you're
story.
guessing.
You know G2 is going to have plus money, and so you should absolutely take that.
Yeah.
I mean, this is pure momentum. Like, and it happens in
This is
esports
pure
all the time.
LAG.
We saw with EDG. You run the simulation on EDG winning that final last year like 100 times. I think they lose at 99, and it just happens.
This is
Like,
why we don't
esports
have
works that
simulations,
way.
guys, by the way. This is why.
This is why we don't have a Monte Carlo for running
Yeah.
this simulation 10,000 times. With
I disagree.
13
I think
different
it's
inputs.
more than 1%.
What?
Also, by the way, I think
is
G2,
more than 1%.
I don't think G2 has a better storyline than Rogue overcoming their playoff boogeyman, smashing
the
the
boogie
number
fucking
2,
man.
getting to finals. I just like this is like they finally get to finals.
See-
Last year they lose 3-2, reverse
Mad Lions,
swept.
baby.
They're back. Are they?
G2
You know,
and
everyone's
Carlos
looked
in
at their
specific
changes.
writes their own
Carlos
story.
overcoming.
Everyone
overcoming
looks at the
Carlos is
changes,
kinda
the
like
team
final
changes.
boss.
Yeah.
Listen, I mean, when Carlos pulls out the plane to shit talk Sentinels with a banner on the back of it that says "fuck Sentinels,"
Also-
for like a Valorant major, the story writes itself with G2, so
I
that's
think
not an
Rogue
issue.
is G2's boogeyman.
That's what I'm saying. G2 is
What's the
Rogue
other thing?
boogeyman.
No, they beat.
You know how I got over the
G2.
boogeyman?
They beat in G2 like every time.
I
in playoffs.
became him.
Yeah,
That's-
last year.
That's
They
how you
beat
beat the boogeyman.
All right. Well, no matter what
I'm,
happens, I think Rogue going to MSI, 100 Thieves going to MSI.
I'm in your
those
walls.
two teams playing each other would make me very excited.
Yeah, I think so too. So
Fnatic is the least exciting team to go.
scoreline for the G2 Fnatic series.
G2 Fnatic. I said 3-2 G2.
G2 3-0.
I hope you're right. Not because I don't
3-1.
like Fnatic, but just because that would be electric to see them coming in 3-0 against Rogue.
And
That
just
would be
like
fucking
back
wild.
9-0 run.
That would be.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That
you
would
removed
be-
like 70 episodes of this podcast, and I've never been wrong. So
We're on episode 69.
think about that.
I
Put that-
love
put that
these
in your
stats.
brain.
I'm going 3-1 Fnatic. I'm gonna go 3-1 Fnatic.
Repeat.
Still
3-1,
can't
3-1.
count, but
That'd be interesting.
at least
There
the
we go.
vibes are there.
We'll see. I think that's about wraps it up. Scoot shouted it out earlier. Please check out our Twitter at Bo3 Network. You can find the link to our Discord in the pinned tweet. Jump in, come join us, tell us why we are wrong or right. More importantly, you can now find the podcast on YouTube so you can see our ugly faces. and
Scoot's
our
got a
reactions.
phenomenal haircut.
Um,
We got to call out his barber.
He does.
Scoot's
Scoot
got
has a
fucking
really
gorgeous
good
hair.
Yeah.
Yo, shout out Katarina for the second time
Yeah.
in 2 podcasts.
I mean,
Absolute
that hair is
legend.
worth
Day
it.
2, it's a
Yeah.
day later. It
He
still looks
great.
incredible. He
Still,
just,
I mean, how do they do it? So you see that thing right up? Yeah, hit that fucking button right
called
there.
a
Hit
subscribe.
that follow button.
it's subscribe,
That is-
subscribe, follow
subscribe
on
to
Twitter,
YouTube.
subscribe to our YouTube, like our YouTube. If you're listening just to the audio, you're doing yourself a disservice because you're missing out
Scoot's
on the
hair.
enhanced product. We hope you guys have a
You
great
should see what's in
weekend.
my background.
Thank you for
It's
supporting
wild.
us.
The stuff that's in my
And
background.
It is wild.
That's my apartment. Like you don't even want to know it's in my apartment.
You could stalk him.
It's crazy that you have a porn.
Stalk him.
addiction.
We're gonna drop little hints
Fucking
of like
little
where
Easter
the
eggs.
MBB
We'll do little
lives.
Easter
You can,
eggs.
yeah, kind of find him. There we go. Thank you everyone for supporting us, and we will see you in the Discord. Bye bye.
Peace out.